Today we're going to be solving systems of equations. This is section 4.6 in the Algebra 2 book. Solving a system of equations means you're trying to solve for what x and y are equal to in both of your equations. And matrices are a good way to solve a system. Here in this equation we have negative 3x plus 4y equals 2. And in our second equation we have x minus y equals negative 1. We're going to use matrices to solve this system for x and y. Take your coefficients for x and y and set them up as an A matrix. Negative 3, 4, 1, negative 1 are the coefficients for x and y. They're going to be matrix A in our calculator. X and y go in their own matrix. We're going to solve for them. And the numbers on the right side of the equal sign, 2, negative 1, they go in as matrix B in our calculator. So first thing you want to do is set up the problem and then go to your calculator and enter in matrix A as a 2 by 2 matrix. And enter matrix B in as a 2 by 1 matrix. So second matrix, edit, pick matrix A, enter in a 2 by 2, put in the values negative 3, 4, 1, negative 1. Go back to second matrix and edit, matrix B, it is a 2 by 1, and the values are 2 and negative 1. Once you get that all set up, to solve for x and y, we want to do matrix A inverse times matrix B. Matrix A is moving to the right side of the equation, and if you remember in the last lesson we don't use division to move a matrix to the right side of the equation, we do the inverse instead. So on your calculator you want to start with a blank screen and then go into matrix and pick A, put the inverse key, which is the negative 1 power, on it, and then times matrix B. So second matrix, pick B, and then if you hit enter, you'll get your solution for x and y, and we learned that x is negative 2 and y is negative 1. This is the intersection of those two equations. Alright, time for you to try one. We're going to enter this into matrix A and matrix B, and then solve for x and y. So here's the setup. 3, negative 1, 2, 1 is matrix A. Those are the coefficients for x and y, which is what we're trying to solve for, and it's equal to matrix B, which is 6 and 4. So try to solve for x and y and pause the video until you're ready to look at the answer. To solve for x and y, we're going to use matrix A inverse times matrix B. So enter in matrix A in your calculator, enter in matrix B in your calculator, and do matrix A inverse times matrix B. We should get the solution that x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 0. On example 2, we are going to first have to rearrange our first equation. It's not set up ready to enter this into matrices. To begin, you want to look at that first equation and subtract 2y to the left side so that the x and the y are on the left side together. Now we're ready to set up the matrices. The first equation is now x minus 2y equals negative 4, and the second equation is x plus y equals 5. Entering these into matrices, matrix A would be 1, negative 2, 1, and 1, and matrix B is going to be negative 4 and 5. Matrix A needs to get entered as a 2 by 2 matrix, matrix B needs to get entered as a 2 by 1 matrix, and then when you're ready, solve for x and y by doing A inverse times B. Pause the video until you're ready to check your answer. You should get x is 2 and y is 3 for this example. Sometimes graphing is a better choice instead of using matrices. Both of my equations for this example are set equal to y equals, and therefore I can go ahead and graph my first equation in my calculator as y1. I can go ahead and graph the second equation in my calculator as y2, and then I'm going to get a picture of two lines that intersect. If you go to second trace intersect and hit enter, 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 you'll find that those lines intersect at negative 2, 8, and for this kind of problem that their equations are already set equal to y, it's much faster to do it as graphing instead. Here's a word problem. Maria spent a total of $52 on a shirt and a pair of jeans. The difference in the price of the items was $18. The jeans are the more expensive item. We want to find the cost of the shirt and the cost of the jeans. Here's how we set this up. The first thing we're told is that the total of the two items is $52. So x plus y equals 52. The difference, which means subtraction, is 18. So x minus y equals 18. And now we have our equations and we're ready to set up the matrices. Matrix A is going to be 1, 1, 1, negative 1. And matrix B is going to be 52 and 18. Don't forget to solve for x and y. You always use A inverse times B. Pause the video until you're ready to check your answer. You get 35 and 17 for this problem. Here's another word problem. An apartment building has 50 units, all of which are 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. 1-bedroom units rent for $425 a month, and 2-bedroom units rent for $550 a month. When all the units are occupied, the total monthly income is $25,000. Holy cow, I wish I made that much a month. How many apartments of each type are there? Our first equation says that there are 50 units total, so x plus y equals 50. In the second equation, we get the money thrown in there. $425 for each x plus $550 for each y equals a total of $25,000. Set up matrix A, 1, 1, 425, 550 are the coefficients, and set up matrix B, 50 and 25,000. To solve for x and y, do A inverse times B. Pause the video until you're ready to check your answer. You should get 20 units and 30 units, so 20 of the cheaper ones and 30 of the more expensive ones. No solution and infinite solution. Sometimes in your calculator you're going to get an error message when you try to solve for x and y, and that's because your solution or your system has either no solution or infinite solutions. No solution means your lines are parallel, they never intersect, and infinite solutions mean that your two lines are really the same line. And
If you're in the building, please call the front office or stop by the front office. Miss Foot.
infinite solutions means that the lines are really the same line graphed on top of itself and it's intersecting itself everywhere. When a matrix doesn't work, that means that you have no solution or infinite and you're going to get the same error message. Instead, you have to use the graphing method to see if your lines are parallel or if they are really the same line sitting on top of itself and intersecting everywhere, meaning infinite.